Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about evaluating exponents. Let's take a look. So a power is a product of repeated factors. The base of a power is the common factor. The exponent of the power indicates the number of times the base is used as a factor. So in this case, 1/2 is the base, 5 is the exponent, and 1/2 to the 5th is a power. So 1/2 is used as the factor 5 times. So you can write the relationship in exponential form or expanded form. So in the exponential form, it's written as 1/2 to the 5th. In expanded form, it's 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. And that, again, that was 5 times because your exponent is 5. Now, if the base is parentheses, that number must be multiplied by itself. That entire base should be multiplied by itself. So that is the entire base should be multiplied by itself. So the base in this case is the -3 in parentheses. So you're multiplying the -3 by itself 4 times, and you do get a positive 81. If there are no parentheses, it's the opposite of the exponentiation. So that's -3 to the 4th power. It's the negative of 3 to the 4th power. So you do 3 to the 4th power, and then you take the negative. So 3 to the 4th is 81, and the negative of that is -81. So to show that on a few more examples, so 2 to the 4th is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Now if I were to evaluate that, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, so we get 16. Now looking at B, it's negative of 2 to the 4th, so it's the negative of 2 to the 4th. So 2 to the 4th is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And it's the negative of that, so negative of 16, so we get -16. C is different because the entire -2 is in parentheses, so that's -2 times -2 times -2 times -2. And that will get you positive 16. So negative multiplied by a negative is a positive, and a negative multiplied by a negative is another positive. Here we have -2 to the 3rd. So that's negative of 2 to the 3rd. So 2 times 2 times 2. So that's -8. And now this is -2 times -2 times -2, which is still -8. So if we were to fill this out, I know 10 to the 3rd is 1,000. 10 squared is 100. 10 to the 1st is 10. Now if I didn't know what 10 to the 0 was, I could realize that each time I'm dividing by 10. Because it's one less 10 that you're multiplying by, which is the same as if you're going down, you're dividing by 10. So dividing by 10. And now if I divide by 10, 10 divided by 10 is 1. So 10 to the 0 is 1, and really anything to the 0 power is 1. And now if I divide by 10 again, I'm going to get 1/10, and that is what 10 to the -1 is. If I divide by 10 again, I'm going to get 1/100th. And if I divide by 10 one last time, I'm getting 1/1000th. So for any integer n and any non-zero number a to the n is a to the -n is the reciprocal of a to the n. So if I were to simplify these without negative exponents, well, 4 to the -2nd, well, that's 1 over 4 to the 2nd. The same as how 10 to the -2 was 1 over 10 squared, which is 1 over 100. B to the -3 is 1 over b to the 3rd. 8 to the -1 is 1 over 8 to the 1st, which is 1 over 8. And 2 to the -4th is 1 over, and that's a -2 to the -4th, so that's 1 over -2 to the fourth. Now, if we were to evaluate these, 1 over 4 squared is 1 over 16. 1 over b to the third is just 1 over b to the third. This is 1 over, and I apologize, that was a negative 8 to the negative 1, so that's 1 over negative 8 to the first, which is really negative 1/8. And lastly, 1 over negative 2 to the fourth, well, that's 1 over the negative of 2 to the fourth, and 2 to the fourth is 16, so 1 over negative 16, which is negative 1/16. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Have a wonderful day.